They just believe in prayer. I got several. I got one lady she is just something else. She will pray over everything. She prays over parking spots. When she drives the mall, God, I need a parking spot up close. Now, she prays. She said, I pray in the shower. I call it shower power. I pray over every little thing. Everything she prays over. This lady is a witness like you wouldn't believe. Loves God. In fact, she said, I think it was recently Cinco de Mayo, the night that Cinco de Mayo was going. She happened to be coming past from Atlanta. She stopped off at a Mexican restaurant. And they were loading everybody up on tequila, buy one, get one free all night. And she said, I walked into the Mexican restaurant, and she said, they said, we're so full, we only have one seat. She said, where is it? They said, at the bar. She said, I'll take it. Now, this lady prays and prays and prays. She sat down at the bar with about 300 other folks that partied up. And you got to understand, those folks didn't realize they were in trouble. She gets at the bar. She orders her a glass of water, and then she starts witnessing to everybody beside her. Young girl beside her, she starts talking to her, and she's sharing with her about what Jesus did in her life. After a while, this girl said, the reason I'm here is because my husband and I are getting a divorce. And the girl starts crying and said, you know something, we were happier when we were in church together, but we both got on a different track. So Miss Janice witnesses to her and gets her to promise to go home, call her husband, try to work things out. She said, I just sat there and said, Lord, who's next? Said, she said, I stayed there till they closed the bar, witnessed about 15 people came up, ordered a drink. She said, I just sat there and said, now, Lord, who's next? And another one come up, started a conversation, witnessed her. She said, Brother Bill, I done found a place to go on Friday night. But she's a lady. Her prayer and her connection with God has given her a boldness. She don't have any fear. She don't care. In fact, she has gotten to where her life is one of those testimonies that I will witness and share my faith wherever I go, and just loves God. She's a widow lady. I hate to say her husband died about 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. And when her husband died, she loved him. I stood beside him when he died. And she called me one day and she said, Pastor, I don't know what to do. She said, I live in a neighborhood over here where my house is falling apart and things are not well. I'm so far away from everything and away from my kids. And so when I hung up the phone, I said, what should the church do? And I realized she's now a widow. She didn't plan on being a widow. She's about 50 years of age. But because she's a widow and we're a church, we had a house that we weren't even using. The church wasn't using it, was going to use for property. So I called her on the phone and said, Miss Janet, how would you like, we'll work on selling your house, you keep the cash, and we'll give you a house. And we'll pay the taxes on it, we'll pay the income, you don't have to do a thing. And we'll cut the grass for you, how about that? We'll pay the light bill, water bill, you just come live in the house. Well, the greatest thing, I came by about an hour after I handed her the key, I gave her the key to the house, and she was thanking God. An hour later, I went somewhere and I had to come back, and as I drove by the house, she's still walking around out in the yard like this. Now, and God has blessed us because we ought to take care of the widows. That's right. But I'm saying, if we had not taken care of her and somebody else had, they would have got the blessing. So you never go wrong doing that, but prayer keeps God doing the miracles in your life. And so choose a leader. Find you somebody that you say they pray, because they'll catch it. It's more caught than taught. If somebody loves to pray, they'll catch it. You get around somebody, and if they're on fire, you're on fire. They're negative, you have to fight that. You'll do what they are. So get that person full of prayer. That passion for prayer to them is everything. And that's the secret. Now, what we do, just a practical thing, we allocate 2 rooms. We keep the men and women apart for this reason. Men and women, whenever we start opening our souls to each other, there can be temptations. And so we have to be cautious. So what we do is we ask the men to pray in one room and the women to pray in another. And they show up earlier and they go to their particular spot and they pray. Then they come back out. So here's what I do. I allocate 2 rooms for men and women. They meet 15 minutes before the service. They show up 15 minutes earlier. Everybody that signs up to be a prayer partner, they come up and they'll walk around some pews and pray or over some seats. Then the men go to their room, the women go to their room, and they meet in there to pray. The next thing I tell you to do, we launched it on a Sunday morning. On a Sunday morning, here's what we did. We bought books for everybody in our congregation. Okay, and we said, okay, here's what I want you to do. We took the books and we said, now we want one for every one of you that we want to be a prayer partner. Now we have 50 or 100 books, or 200 books or whatever. That's how many prayer partners we want. We want an empty box when we're through. I want everybody in the church to sign up to be a prayer partner. And we give them the book so they can take it home, begin to read it, and it gets in their soul.